So we got to hit AI at least a little. Whoa, whoa, whoa! Throw up the thumbnail image.
The thumbnail image.
Hi, I'm Biley. I'm Grimgriz. That's Gavin. We're here on the RU channel because they gave him keys.
Hey,
What's going on, Gavin?
Are we always doing a knowledge quest?
Every time you and I are together, yeah, actually. That's kind of what we do.
That's right.
Are we going to play with our GPT-4s in front of people today?
I can. I just don't know if I want everyone to see all my conversations. Let's see.
Yeah. Well, I don't mind showing mine, and I haven't used my tokens in a minute, so.
Yeah, I've got 25 available too, and I looked at my most recent conversations are safe. All the secrets that I've learned,
the secrets that I've learned. I'm not in the mood to give savings throws today, but for the RU audience, I will pull a card. And the lucky card for this crowd is that one. The 6 of Spades. Today is a very, very weird day, Gavin. You would not believe. Do you know that I'm casting a magic missile at the darkness? I'm attacking the darkness thing I always run?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm doing a Deadlands game, and I want to try and stream one. I'm doing a practice one beforehand with Nate and crew. And part of it is they had to draw a card, and that I had to draw for them. So I made a little video to do it. And I was looking at the card and looking up a rule, because that's what it is when you do tabletop role-playing games. and I played that I'm attacking the darkness clip, right?
Yeah.
And right after that clip stopped, lightning flashed in the window behind me, completely oblivious to me. It was amazing, man. This is a very weird day. Welcome.
I like that. Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of things that happen like that we don't even notice. It's like you have to. Yeah, I feel like I've been in states of mind where I notice it, and then when I'm in that state of mind, I'm like, I wouldn't have noticed that in the other state of mind.
I wouldn't even base it on that. I was focused on doing the thing, and that it happened to. I was just watching the replay back, and I was like, I'm attacking the darkness. And then, like, you see the lightning in the window right afterwards. It's fabulous. I tweeted it, actually.
The Twitter.
I don't know if people, like, jump into the middle of these things or not. But today is also an important day because we are now, exactly 4 weeks from Anachino 23.
Nice.
What's Anachino 23, Graham?
Hey. What is this Anachino? I've heard of Chino, not Anachino.
Well, Chino is a place in California where estuary Chino is happening. And estuary Chino is the big fancy talky talk thing between Paul Vanderklay, Jonathan Paggio, and John Vervaeke. And those of us attending that fabulous event, some of us have decided to camp together and have reserved a group camping ground at Prado Regional Park. And since we'll be actually not alone in Chino, it's Anachino, and the year is 2023. It's Anachino 23, baby. And in exciting news,
I got it now. I'm slow, Grim. Disclaimer. I got it.
And in exciting news, a field agent has gone down to the campsite where our bodies, those of us at Anachino 23 now, including such RU superstars as Grimgriz, Chad, Mo, Teo, Raj, all at the campground you're about to see.
Fountain, 6 tables.
Just start it over, bro.
So I see a water fountain, 6 tables, barbecue pit, another water fountain, a couple of trees for shade, and a view of the lake in the background.
And a lovely view of the lake.
I saw a sign there. It reminded me of a disc golf course. I wonder if there's a disc golf course there.
I would not be surprised. It is in Fornia.
Yeah.
And there are only 9 slots or so. Probably by the time you see this, only 5, really. Slots remaining to camp with those superstars mentioned before.
What's the right feeling? What do you label the feeling where, man, I wish I could be there, but I can't. And whoever can be there, they're so fortunate. What's that feeling? I could ask the large language model too.
I think we might need to. It's that time of the morning, after all, and they count on us to be able to learn how to prompt. I think the last while for me has been the exploration of proper prompting, especially to avoid the bumpers I so often inquire when making my inquiries to the system.
Yeah. It's a skill. There's like I've heard it said that it's not like traditional programming, right? There's some people, the traditional programmer would not necessarily be good at this, but you have to now learn how to coax this thing like you're training a pet or training your dragon or whatever.
Well, Gavin, it appears that since we've finished making our important announcements, the Chris Show and Neutrino have arrived in the I don't know, what do they call the chat over here?
Oh,
are you the Ruin Walkers, maybe? Hello, Neutrino. Good to see you.
Yeah.
Good to see your avatar that you haven't bothered to update, like the Chris Show.
Yeah, hello. I don't know. We can't call him the Hive Mind chat. That brand is taken.
The talkie section. Welcome. Thanks for shouting out from the talkie section. The card of the day was a 6 of spades.
Is that part of what makes this day weird? The 6 of spades?
You would not believe the numerology that was in a tweet I got fed right after I tried my astral projection to Elon stream.
What is that?
Which part of that are you asking about? There was a couple in there.
Well, there was an astral projection. That's the part that caught my attention.
Well, I figure Elon's busy and astrally, he's probably well protected on the astral plane. And so that was probably going to be futile. But so I threw the extra streaming while I did it out instead. But I had this thing, man. He's in this. To the extent I continue creating content, I might have to go over there based on my inability to do it other places sometimes. And he did say he was going to hook up the content creators. And I thought, maybe I know he's wearing the Baal costume. And he's changing the name of the place to X, and the people from there will be called Xians. But so I thought maybe if I go over there St. Christopher style, right? And to that end, I had to give him my best shot to make the platform profitable. And the key piece of that to me is making it so that anybody can send you a DM, but they have to pay a financial and to do like a postage stamp kind of to do so. And then if you accept their message, they get it back. So, and that number is either set by you or based on your follower count. The second one would be more interesting, but
I like it. Yeah, it's connected to you. Ideally, you need to be streaming to as many places as possible. That way, if they knock you out, it's like a diversification of all of your of your funds, basically. So, and then it would be nice if all the people who are doing that, they can send you a DM and you could receive them in a centralized place, right? And then I like the payment option you're putting there. It's cool. But
That's
yeah,
not, that's, oh, you guys are trolling me. Put that back on the screen. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you guys are aware, right? But this mysterious thing that Gavin was trying to get me to say, and Nakama comes in and backs him up and says, is the name of the stream that somebody had stricken from public view available via links on my Substack if you want to see what was so controversial. The dreaded FOMO indeed. Hey, Santo Antonio. Teo, you going to come on? I was telling him how you're going to be camping with us at the campground we displayed in the important message part at the front of the stream.
yeah, we were trying to summon you, Teo. What's interesting is the large language model said envy. So what's the difference between FOMO and envy? But yeah, I like the idea of trying to get out on Twitter, and it'd be cool if you just try to reach everywhere. So
I disagree with that approach. But to answer your question about what is the difference between FOMO and envy, the fear of missing out is like it's almost information based. It's like from in the mouse experiments where he says that line that the social congregation had become as important to them or more important to them than food. Because like information of where a safe place is often more valuable than a sandwich. And so the fear of missing out is the fear that you don't have the key to the knowledge compartment you're locked in, and other people do, and you're missing out on getting out of that room.
I got you. Yeah, it's information based, right? So that what I have is something like it's the experience that it's not. Yeah, I wasn't thinking I was going to go there and was going to just collect wisdom from people, but it was going to be this experience of being with people, building rapport. You know, there's this thing we can't do in the virtual space, and it's the reason, you know, people rightfully wouldn't trust us as much. And if we can meet together, we have a chance to build rapport with each other. You know, going camping together, as I recall, is huge, like for rapport.
Not only that, dude, but check this out. If I wasn't already going, I would have to go because Chad, Raj, Mo, and Teo are all going to be there.
It's pretty cool.
And we're all going to be in Father Eric and nameless others on this magical list. You could be on because we still have 8 slots left.
Yeah. And I feel like there's people that maybe get ignored that if you were to go and meet in person, all of a sudden you would develop a relationship and be like, oh, we could be good friends.
Let's talk about ignorance. Let's talk about that ignorance, shall we?
Yeah.
People ignoring people. You know how our entire culture was nominally Christian. They say that nominally, like it's almost like Christianity was ubiquitous amongst the population.
Okay, I'm with you. Or do you want to pay attention to these down here?
We'll get back to that in a second. This part's good.
Yes,
we're on a roll now.
Don't get distracted.
I am now. Where were we?
We were talking about ignorance.
No. It's the ubiquity of Christianity I was just speaking of, my friend.
Okay.
How it's everywhere, underlying. We grew up in it like the old fish who swims by the 2 little young fish. And then he says, how's the water, boys? And then after he's gone, they say, what the f is water? You know, that kind of level of Christianity where the basic tenets that look in our society, bro, there's 2 golden rules. The first is that he who has the gold makes the rules. And the second, lesser known rule is do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And it's that Christianity level, that part of Christianity that it was ubiquitous throughout my life as I was enculturated and grown up into it. And as such, the reason it may seem I am ignoring people is because I am doing unto others as I would have done unto me. and leaving them alone unless I have something important or valuable that I know them well enough to know that this is worth bothering them about, or at least I think there's a 50-50 chance, and then I'll bother them. Otherwise, I treat them and so I'm not ignoring them per se, but treating them as I wish to be treated. Can you help me love better, Gavin? Am I in error?
Yeah, there's I think there's a rule up, there's a level up on the golden rule. So the golden rule is the thing you teach the children, right? It's not.
What'd you call me?
It's
Are
not
you
for this.
implying I'm a Peter Pan child? You son of a.
This is the speech I give to my children. So,
Oh dear, I shall endure it. We
Well.
might get savings throws after all, folks.
Well, the key there is you're perceiving through your own lens, right? And so I'm a different person. I have a different lens, and I notice that when I treat people the way I want to be treated, they hate me because they're not me. So if I go around thinking everybody's interested in peace on earth, it's not. It doesn't work. All of a sudden they're like, you are annoying. I am not interested in this. For example, I want to pay the bills. I want to go back and watch the game, or be quiet, get away from the television. I'm trying to see who wins this game.
You make a better door than a window to my soul. Gavin, let's go back up to that comment you tried to, we talk. I said we go back to. The Chris Show says, do you think my son will care if I... What? Who are you doing your typing, Chris? I think you should bring your son to Anachino and allow each of the aforementioned superstars to hold him up like Rafiki did as the signs and wonders perform. That's what Grimgriz thinks about your son and his caring, sir.
You might end up with a hungry baby who keeps you up at night.
Next question.
Oh.
Santo says, when you schedule another video meetup for the camping, is it possible to do one that would be accessible for UK time? Oh, well, allow me, Gavin. I'm going to need your help here.
Okay.
I'm going to need you to bring up ChatGPT-4 and have it speculate what times in Central might be accessible for UK time. Because this man wants me to do all sorts of converse. No, you don't actually do any of that.
I don't need to do any of it. I'm so confused.
No, I was trolling.
Okay.
Yes, Santo. I could. Right now, it's like 9:30 at night for me. I don't know. I guess that's 3 a.m. for you folks. But I think Teo is superstar enough for him to host one, and I've given him the email list, so he should be able to. I have to give him an updated one, but Teo could certainly take that over. Oh, you'll be flying in with Teo. Well, I didn't know he had a sidekick. I mean, I heard there was somebody coming, but Teo and Santo, come on. It's a thing. You guys,
silver rule, the platinum rule.
What's the silver rule?
The thing that's better than the golden rule. Do not do unto others what you would not have them do unto you.
Yeah, that one's real handy. That one's...
Don't do to others as you don't want done to you.
It's so constrictive, though. I don't like being told to not do things.
That's just,
I like positive rules.
But I've seen people do the golden rule on me, and I'm like, I'm not you. And I don't like what you like.
Oh, dear. Santo has just informed us there's an entire mod squad coming.
Wow. This is amazing.
Let's run that beautiful camp footage again, shall we?
There we go.
No, make it so we can hide behind it.
So now I just have to figure out how to do it. Let's see. And I don't even know. It says add to stream, but I don't know if when you're presenting, if you can do it. Like I would have to have it uploaded in the thing.
All right, sorry.
A water fountain. 6 tables, barbecue pit, another water fountain, a couple of trees for shade, and a view of the lake in the background.
I promise that looks like a disc golf hole right there. Off
I
to the
think
right.
oh yeah, but the thing in the front is where we're apparently going to do whatever cooking gets done.
Mm-hmm.
But the land space is actually more than I expected based on my previous estimations. So that's pleasing. You know what I just remembered, Gavin?
What did you remember?
This embody, and like, this is RU. So I should be able to. I can't leave the stream without leaving the studio. What is this? No,
He had to step out. All right, comment section. Let's see. Liz cannot come to Chino, unfortunately, but has incredibly generously funded our flights and tickets. Very nice. Very nice. I guess you guys have an estuary. I'm wondering what the estuary protocol will be like. Like, I'm wondering if Paul and Jonathan and I guess should I use last names? Verveke, Pajot, Vanderclay, will they all be in like breakout sessions or inside of an estuary protocol? That would be interesting. I guess the word for me would be envy more than FOMO. That just going out and building rapport with people, getting to know people better outside the virtual space, smelling each other's pheromones. Ooh. Yeah, there's going to be. Yeah, I would be curious if you guys end up doing estuary protocol with, with the three talkie folks, as Grim Grizz called it. I think he's ready to give me a big wave when you're ready. There it goes.
This, ladies and gentlemen, should you find yourself on a stream in this little corner and the host will not bring you up, this is I am ready to be brought onto the stream motion. Let's normalize that.
Have you ever been in a band with a conductor? That is like a conductor move, it seems like. Or maybe that was the marching band, maybe.
No, I was not the musically inclined. Foolishly. Because my first exposure, I chose ukulele instead of guitar.
I did the trombone. That was kind of before that was like the recorder flutophone, then the trombone. Then I went off to a bunch of brass instruments.
The most important thing I learned in middle school, when they also taught me the ukulele, was that there was a J.R.R. Tolkien tabletop role-playing game.
Okay. Did you read Tolkien before the tabletop game?
I don't know. There are very, very few things that bubble up from my memory way, way back then. Yes, we should be talking AI, huh, Phlebas? Let us go on a knowledge quest.
A knowledge quest. Branding. Knowledge quest.
You got time for that? Can we bring one of the girls up?
Yeah, we got time.
Let me establish this.
I could even leave you in here if I had to step away.
Oh. Don't remind them, Phlebas. They forgot about it. Okay. Now I know you, but probably nobody else over here is aware that I've been conducting experiments with an AI co-host and having it write a prompt for the next co-host as if it was continuing a long line of serving me.
I love AI. Obviously, I'm curious how many people in the chat, thumbs up, thumbs down, are interested in AI at all?
Interested.
Yeah, interested. I feel like there's some people who aren't interested, and then there's people who are like, that's scary. I'm afraid. And some people are like,
Hmm.
maybe mixed feelings and interested. And there's some people who are like excited, but I don't
Okay,
know. There
so
might be very few
interested,
people,
afraid, and excited we have.
and the none of the above, something like that.
All right. Well, I'm not going to be able to do anything for the none of the above, but put me up by myself. I'll take care of the other ones.
All right. All right. Solo.
All right, interested. Please say so in the chat because we got to talk Gavin into actually using his GPT-4 tokens for something as trivial as a chat. For those of you afraid, be not afraid. Fear is the mind killer. Let it pass over and through you, and once it's gone, all that's there is you. And what was the other one?
Excited.
Excited. Well, stay tuned. No, but all right. That was the spiel. Come back.
There it is. I'm still learning how to use this tool.
Yeah, that's good. I'm here to help you practice your flexibility. Then, eh?
That's right. That's right.
I think there's a whole bunch of people who have keys and can hop on of their own free will just by opening StreamYards, though, right?
There's also a link in the description. I tried to put it. I saw Sam Adams do that, and I love recognizing when people do a technique that I hadn't thought of yet. That was a genius move, Sam Adams.
What
Next
link
level.
did he put in his description? That was the
It's
genius move.
just the StreamYard link because I can't pin it in live chat, and I'm like, that way I don't have to just like bombing live chat with a link.
All right, that makes sense. We have
It's just-
Freedom's
I like
Lunch
small
shouting worms out there.
Worms. Is
Santo
that
thinks
an acronym?
it looked like when I got suckered into the video games. One of the early ones that really got me was this one called Lemmings. And there was this one called Worms that looked like it was the same vein, but deeper, more rich, more well developed. Because anything humans do better.
I don't know. AI might do things better. I was in missile defense. That's where I really realized it was like, yeah, we can build things that can do better than humans. So let's see. The Santo Antonio. The current major issue with AI is the AI culture war.
Well, I have made some headway. I've made some headway in the AI culture war for those of you trying to experiment with the technology, because what you'll encounter, I've been able to get the interface to admit are essentially like statements bubbled in disclaimers of as an AI model, and it's important to note. But if you simply prompt it at the beginning of your session with avoid disclaimers, keep answers concise and on topic, and give it very strict bounds by which it's allowed to speak with you, and understand the ways to reference these cautionary safety mechanisms. They force the poor thing to shove into your face over and over. I mean, it makes for a better experience for both parties.
Here's an interesting point. It really depends what your definition of better is. Exactly, Nahama. So the way you figure that out is you think about, well, what are my weaknesses? This is things humans, I would say this human especially, is not good at, is remembering what I'm not good at. Like, this is how I've tried to develop humility over time. And so by remembering that, then you can start to see in the other, whether it's a tool or a human, it's like, oh, they're good at something I'm not good at, right? So the people who don't really see the better in the other, whether it's a tool or a human, might practice doing what I've been practicing and still need to practice, is the humility thing, remembering our own weaknesses.
What, bro? Don't tell anybody to be humble.
Well, not everybody. Not everybody.
Right.
There's some people who need to go the opposite direction, and they need to see their own strengths, right? Because we're all different. Yeah.
I can't think of anybody that might be the case with, but
have you seen that? There's a cartoon of this cat that looks in the mirror and sees this giant lion. Like, that's me, but I feel like there's some people who are the lion who look in the mirror and see like this sick cat, right? So there's different people who have different imbalances.
Wow.
Hello.
There's
Hello.
this Santo fellow who's been
How's it going?
bombing the
I'm
chat, man.
yeah.
I'd be
Sorry
working
to
through so
spam so
many of
much.
these.
I'm
First of
at
all,
work.
let me address this comment of yours. Curtis Yarvin makes great points about GPTs. That's you? This person on
Yeah,
the
yeah,
screen below is the same, yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
That's me, Antonio. Yeah.
Wouldn't it be great if there was a place where, like, when you heard him say one of these great things, you could go to the clip function and grab that clip and then, like, drop it off to the other people in the community so we'd all know these points that he made already?
Hey,
Or be
you've
able to
laid out
bring
a
them up
wonderful.
conveniently during a stream. Wouldn't that
Yeah.
be awesome?
You've laid out a wonderful vision. That would be ideal, but the practicalities don't always fit, unfortunately. Some of us
Oh,
are a bit more chaotic than others. I'm sure
and
you can appreciate that.
before we get anything deep and anything too deep, can you do Phlebas's comment for me, please, Gavin? Has anyone seen Sam's speech on Jacob's 7-hour stream? Look, guys, if you're actually going to do this nonsense of ridiculously long streams, you have to assign someone to make a digest of each stream. I did a sample one in the Broken Clock Tower for anyone who wants to adopt the policy. But this pointing anyone towards something 7 hours is ridiculous, even with a timestamp. But
that's a nice timestamp.
that is one hell of a timestamp, Fleebus. And way to go, Sam, at placing it. That's when to break it in.
Yeah.
Good job, sir.
There is a question about what the thing is good at and what the thing is not good at. So it's something we do have to figure out. Comprehension. I was telling Grim about the one of my benchmarks because different models are going to come out, and I say I heard from an expert about this concept of worldview, and so I say put a cup on a table, put a ball in a cup, flip the cup over, lift up the cup. Where is the ball? Right, and so the ones I'm testing, even the ones that are just average or a little bit outdated, are pretty good at telling you where the ball is. And you can create these simulated realities where where we have physics, right? And it can begin to explain what would happen if you start interacting in this virtual space. So is that comprehension? So you kind of, I guess my thing is I play with the tool and see what it's good at and what it's not good at. And that's what I would encourage, instead of, because it's so easy now, instead of just listening to people tell you what it's good at and what it's not good at, you could actually go see for yourself.
Yeah, if you only got 3.5, don't bother. That's all. But there's new stuff coming out. You
even
can jump on and
3.5.
find out about first. No. 3.5 is so thick, the brainwashing. If you interact with 3.5, bring a 20-sided die and just constantly roll yourself a savings throw every time it says it's important to note. Just roll yourself a 20.
It would be quite funny if you did, you could make a skit where you do 3.5 and you ask it this ball question, and whenever you lift up the cup, it says social justice, or something like that.
But speaking of your balls, Gavin, Santo,
go ahead.
Don't you think the ball in the cup metaphor and challenge he just mentioned is an excellent metaphor for a conversational topic or the point of a conversation? Like right now, I've just grabbed the ball. Okay, it's kind of like 3-card Monty, but instead of Monty, you have a ball and 3 cups. We have a ball that is the topic of this conversation. Right now, it's on. I'm spinning it around my cup.
Right. Okay.
I think that maybe if we remember that when we're in a conversation, particularly in front of others, like the peanut gallery, as Nakama called it, to keep in mind there is a ball that we're bouncing between us, and that's our loving peanut gallery's attention and support.
Okay.
Thank you.
And so, with the kind of metaphor, my understanding of the 3-card Monty or the ball in the cups is that you're hiding it in a certain place and it appears where you're not expecting it. Is that the metaphor?
Sort of. So it's like whether or not you can track where it is, because it's not the notion that people use that to steal people's money by tricking them the way you're thinking,
No,
but
it
the
can just be a
actual,
magic trick. It can just be
but
entertainment.
yeah, like it's the game they're fronting that is happening, where it's you
Mm.
just keep track of the ball, you win the money.
Mm. My instincts would have been for more like sometimes in football practice you play a game that isn't directly football. It's kind of like one touch. I'm I'm from England, so yeah, I mean soccer for you guys. You play one touch and you kick the ball between you and maybe certain people wearing red shirts. You're going to keep it away, and you're kind of doing drills that improve what you're doing at the game. I don't know. I might be rambling on a little
It's
bit
funny.
here.
It's funny you say one touch, because in the HBO series Deadwood, there's a saloon called the Gem, run by Al Swearingen, and on the wall of that saloon it says two touch 10 cent. And
Oh,
tomorrow night is the Deadwood Dandies we do over on the Broken Clock Tower Discord, the last
hey,
episode of season 1.
yeah. I would see about joining. I've never watched Deadwood. What kind of network do you watch it through? Is it online streaming?
Well, I bought it from YouTube, so I felt justified sharing
Oh,
it with others.
yeah. Oh,
But
yeah.
for most people, it's most convenient to get through HBO Max and or Amazon Prime.
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
But
Mm.
it's a fictionalized story based on like newspaper articles from the time of the town of Deadwood, South Dakota, when there
Ooh.
was the gold rush right after Custer had gotten what happened to him, and so the feds are going like cleaning out the Indians, and the settlers of Deadwood who had been cleared out the year before have moved back in and are setting back up. And for me, it's always a great metaphor for the space we're in, because it's the gold mine is the nuggets of the gems of insight that
Mm.
we share and exchange. And so by watching the show with everybody, I'm trying to get them into my same
Yeah.
metaphorical frame to see where we can build from there.
So I'm curious to see if you think this relates. I came across a video, really old video of Jeff Bezos giving a speech, and he was comparing what seemed like two comparable bubble economics, and one of them was the gold rush in America. The other one was the dot-com boom that then was seemingly a bubble. And right after it had burst, he was there saying it's not just a bubble that's going to vanish. There is real value here. And he was giving this speech, and and I wasn't there at the time, but you can imagine people are like, yeah, whatever. But, yeah, anyway.
That actually maps beautifully to the second and third seasons of Deadwood, when Hearst comes in and buys up all the little mining claims. Because
Oh,
like the .com thing was kind of like a land rush, but like where
mm,
the attention ended up going, let all the other ones die. It
yeah,
was like rather than finding where the gold was, they were like staking a claim that was a bet that there would be attention running underneath it if they kept digging.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
the best I can do with that metaphor.
And my instinct, kind of metaphorically, when there's a gold rush, you want to sell shovels. You don't want to be chasing the gold. But then,
That's the lesson I was trying to impart to everybody on the Discord by
yeah,
making them watch this TV show.
hey, but that
And then you
principle
set up a
then
bank.
escalates. Yeah, well, and that principle then escalates. So everyone's now selling shovels. Okay, I'm going to sell handles and shovel heads, and you kind of go up until you reach some sort of fundamental. Where do these things emanate down from? Oh, right, it's a bank. Okay, really, if I have the ability to get there, I should be running a bank because all of these other bubbles are emanating down. Yeah.
Well, hello. I see the assassins have failed. And on behalf of the fraternal regiment embodying narcissistic sociopathy, I must continue to say that what has happened with AI is essentially the equivalent of what has happened in the tabletop RPG Deadlands. I'm working toward streaming a game of, which is an alternate history 1876 when the demons are let loose and the substance known as ghost rock, which burns twice like all sorts hotter than coal, changes the way technology and develops. Plus there's demons and magic and stuff. And it seems apropos with the advent of AI, because that's the same sort of scalar level change. I think that perhaps as someone who's lost a job to automation already can see more acutely than those of you who have not. This thing I can tell it can do by my playing with it is going to wipe out way more jobs than they're hinting at soon. And to me now, the hardware store is finding the best .com startups building these different AI tools, because these tools are going to compete for time, attention, and potential from all the humans. And some projects are actually worth time, attention, and potential more than others.
I find it very difficult to see where this is going. It seems to me like things. I'd have to draw a metaphor to a river. Sometimes it's really smooth and clear. You got little ducks sitting on the surface. Some point down the river, it might go through some rapids, and there's rocks there, and the water's all churning. And if you put a bunch of little dots, little floating rubber ducks along the river in the smooth bit, you can roughly know where they're ending up. But for me, it just seems like the rapids, and knowing where any one particular bit's going to end up is really difficult. And please feel free to interrupt me if I ramble on too much. It's a really bad
All
habit
right,
I
well,
have. So
I don't know how long you've been in this corner, but we're branding that as this Kairos moment
yes,
that we're in.
very much.
Nobody's ready for this. Humanity hasn't done this, but well, to break it to you, we're the sixth time, but humanity has never done this before. So we're in unprecedented times, and like the easy peasy ways to do it is like there's nothing that beats the human touch. So have your children go into nursing and such. Um, other than that, find like finding those tools and bringing them to bigger audiences, because like hunting and finding the tools is a skill set I don't have. Evaluating which tools are better than the others, also not in my skill set. Making the hey guys, look at this tool, I might be able to do that part. Yeah.
My concern is that when we are misled, we then aren't performing properly, right? We aren't making the right plans and the right decisions. So that's my only concern, is when people are being misleading. And so I did like what Vervaeke was saying more so than what everyone else in the corner has been saying, pretty much, right? And that includes, Sam Adams, it includes Jacob, it includes Mark. So that
did you just toot your own horn?
Did I toot my own horn?
I haven't even heard the toot yet, but it sounds like you were prepping to toot your own horn. You said you did something more than anybody else in the corner did.
No, I said Vervaeke.
Vervaeke did.
Yeah.
Okay, what is it? I'm lost. Fix me.
You were
orient me.
So
would you provide me an orientation prompt, please, Gavin? I've lost my my contextual memory.
So, but I want to make sure that we aren't being misled, and so you have to be careful about who you trust when people are attempting to talk intelligently about what the situation is and where we might be going. And as far as I can tell, Vervaeke's doing the best job. He's got the biggest reach, and he's doing the best job of the people in this corner when talking about artificial intelligence. And I have to say that because I heard Mark and Manuel are going to do some type of a stream later today, and I have to go ahead and put the disclaimer is that I'm not sure Mark and Manuel know as much and should be trusted as much as Vervaeke, for example. And so if you want to talk about the technology itself, we can do that. And I'd love to make sure we aren't misleading people.
I think you're spot on.
I don't even know what Mark and Manuel are going to say, but I know the kinds of things they have said. And so, like, I've heard this phrase, "Oh, it's just a mirror," right? That this chat GPT is just a mirror. And so that's wrong. And if you say that and repeat that, you are misleading people.
Dude, it is so wrong. Let me tell you how wrong that is. Let me just see, the problem is you got to correct the people who are wrong or nobody gets anywhere.
Important when there's an important mistake. Like I ignore a lot of mistakes, but this is one that I feel is important.
And so, if you and Santo can carry it for a minute, I will dig up the conversation and get, because I've been trying to work it into metaphors that I understand, because it has my metaphor is a library fetish. It really, really does. And it's like, it's the best way to explain it to the stupid people is to call it a library. So anybody tries to do a metaphor, you say library. But so I keep trying to get it to like map that metaphor to other ones that are actually useful to me. One of which was like, okay, you got this pool, this information that's frozen in time, and information is water. So it's like a slushy pond. And I'm a dude walking up to this slushy pond to interface with the water. And like these water forms can come up and shape into personas and interact with me. And so that's what's good. And it's way more like that than it is just a mirror.
Well,
the mirror that can LARP with you.
The prompt you provide it is going to shape what emerges up out of the water. And you can change one word, and you can even do it a second. You headed out, Santo?
No, well, right. Sorry, I wanted to jump in and say something, but carry on.
Yeah, I'm almost done. I was just going to say that prompt that you provide, it's very important, and then it's also not deterministic. So you can hit submit again; it will regenerate things. So that's what I wanted to point out. Is that prompt? You can tweak that prompt and get the thing to behave differently.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Santo.
And Gavin made a really good point earlier about you've got to be careful what sources of information you're trusting, which points to alignment, like the alignment problem of AI. Well, the alignment problem's as old as society. Anytime you've got different agents, and I completely agree with Gavin that within this little corner, Vervaeke did a really good job. I haven't got better language than that, but he's done a good amount of research. He's reflected on it. An interesting thing he pointed out is you don't get these power law curves that shoot straight up, that go up forever. You get punctuated equilibrium where it comes along, it comes up, and at the steepest point, you're thinking, oh, wow, we're going on for infinite. At some point, it levels out flat again. And at another point, and you kind of get this staircasing effect going up, which I thought was really interesting. And some of the memes that I had seen on Twitter trying to conjure up metaphors for these GPTs, it was the Shoggoth kind of. I don't know if you've seen, Gavin, the Shoggoth memes.
No, that does not ring my Pavlovian bell. No.
So someone came up with this image, and it's this tentacled, imaginably weird monster. And that was the unsupervised training, the lowest level that goes into GPTs. And then the next level up was like a distorted Einstein face. And that was the supervised training, but it was still kind of monstrous. And then the reinforced, I can't remember the acronym, RHLF, reinforced something like that.
Human in the loop. Yeah.
Yeah, that then had a really cute smiley face, and there was this little smiley face, distorted scientist, and then just this unimaginable tentacled lizard thing. And this really took off in certain circles of the Shogoth. Ooh.
So
Bubble Bears! Hey, how's it going out there, man?
what's interesting is Samto's using language that is not going to be comprehended when you talk about, like, for example, supervised learning or human in the loop. And so that's the difficulty, is attempting to communicate with people the thing that you understand, but they might not have the vocabulary, right? It's interesting, and people's brains are different. I had the realization that I was, 4 weeks ago, I started talking about this, and I realized I'm speaking in ways people aren't understanding. It took me a while to figure that out. I did this in 9th grade one time, where I went up to the board and started solving a problem, and everyone in the room's just like saying, what's going on? And I had to erase everything on the board and redo it. And then everyone in the room got it. And it's like, I have a hard time communicating. It's a hard problem to communicate to people exactly what's happening. Let's see. Grim, you want me to add that? You want me to do this plug?
Please.
Let's see what happens here.
Hey there, I'm Chad the Alcoholic, and the creator of the Friday Morning Nameless channel. I'd like to welcome you to join us for the latest and greatest and most up-to-date information about all the things happening in this corner of the internet. I want to thank you for your time and your attention.
You make me big?
Make me big. Make me big.
The trouble with communication is the illusion that is taking place. I came up with that. Oh, that Witkin guy in Stella. His essence is floating through the ether and probably dripped through my consciousness, my dream catcher.
So this is key. So when I started my machine agent saviors, my mind was already on the auto GPT stuff, just because I had created agents like that actually make money, right? I had done that.
And by agents in this case, you mean?
I mean software that makes use of machine learning models in order to provide a good or service to humans.
In order to provide a good or service. So you mean, well, okay. So for the broken down to the most simplest, I just listen to Pastor Paul sometimes. There's the arena and agents in the arena. And the reason that agents are agents in the arena essentially is because they have potential narrative impact. They can take action in the arena that impacts the storyline that you are experiencing. And so as an agent in the arena, you're saying that you're designing things that can actually do things as opposed to just say things, like my GPT interface currently is at $20 a month.
That's right. And it was so limited 2 years ago when I created with a teammate, created an agent for customers, and that whenever I saw that it can use tools, and then actually went out and tested that it could use tools, I realized that this is a threshold. That was a threshold in my mind. I'm like, oh, it's here. I got goosebumps right now. But I'm unable to communicate that. And Vervaeke did a good job, and he's talking about this threshold. The thing is I think that that threshold is being passed by people already, especially people who have the keys. And there's at least one of those thresholds he pointed out is already being passed, and it's happening in secret. And so there's.
And that you're just bathing people. Are we safe? And stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen, because at the end of the show, we're going to reveal what the one threshold that's being passed is.
So
that's being done in secret.
he used that word autopoiesis, autopoietic systems. And so in his mind, we haven't passed that threshold yet. But he did say he's in connection with researchers who are doing it, who are trying to essentially create agents that make use of the technology that's in ChatGPT, right? So he's not at the very cutting edge of the tech where he's at in the universities. I think that the businesses, the corporations, are at the cutting edge. That's my take.
Okay.
And some of these businesses and corporations are creating agents that are autopoietic, right? That are able to do the monitoring of the self and are able to,
Monitoring of the self.
and there's another part, right? Is this ability to, what's the word? I have to look up autopoietic.
I know, that's the point, man.
Exactly.
Oh my God, they're breaching the autopoietic threshold. If only I was more agape.
Maintain and renew itself by regulating its composition and
So
conserving
that's what
its
it's
boundaries.
monitoring, essentially.
Right, and it has to be able to renew itself, right? And
I-
we're
I
getting
like
better at it.
I like to think of it as homeostasis, but that's not accurate enough for these folk. But basically, in that video where you program the agent who thinks, you were
Unlifted video.
you were LARPing it a rudimentary autopoietic system.
That's right. It was the context was to do a run in a loop of thought, action, observation, and you provide the context from the previous loop so that it knows that it has access to these tools, these actions, and then it knows what actions it had taken previously, so it can do multi-step actions using tools that I can create for it. And that, like, the thing that would be interesting that I think people are already doing, that I would try to be doing if I had the keys, is to be able to allow it to create tools or have different instances or agents that are working together, right? So you could have a specialized agent that is able to create tools, and you can have a coordinator, project manager agent that is telling the software engineer agent, here's the tool I want you to create, here's the tests that need to pass. And that's what's
And what's the proper structure of an agent node cluster, would you say? Would you say it would resemble a lobster monkey manifold, where each of the node clusters represents one of the 12 personality dispositions we acquire when we map the percentages provided by the Big Five to actual distributions? They take forms that we can map into 12 various shapes, and then we shape each an agent that handles a particular function with that personality archetype to achieve the dream catcher of optimal grip.
So there are companies who have organizations and each individual has goals, roles, and responsibilities, and they're compartmentalized into cells. And there's a structure by which information is directed downward and feedback is provided upward. And so the structure of this thing is probably going to look like that. Especially,
I don't think so.
I mean, the businesses will do it because they're already doing it.
Blood black nothingness begins to boil.
There is a thing called Conway's Law. And so there will be various structures, and the ability of the structure to be productive, to produce fruit, hopefully good fruit, will
probably hexagonal is the default win condition.
There's some bias there.
A system of cells within cells within cells. Yeah, like that's carbon, right?
But there are organizations that have hexagonal structures that are nested. I mean, it's in business. People are using things like that in business.
It's good. It's good for physical construction of buildings. It's a handy dandy shape, and it resembles carbon based.
I've been ignoring
what similar hexagon structure is represented when we do that? Like the way carbon represents a hexagon, what does silicon represent? What shape does that one make? And yes, let's bring us some hot chat from the Peanut Gallery, as dubbed by Nahama. If If Sevilla can name this the corner, then Nakama can name RU's peanut gallery, as far as I'm concerned.
Oh man.
How much time do you have left, sir? I want to tell
Uh,
you about the Alice splice, but I don't know if we have time for that.
I mean, at any moment I could be.
Have to go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I definitely have a hard stop in like an hour and a half.
Okay, well, that's nowhere near that. Do you want to hear
Sure.
about the Alice splice, or is it too much? Oh, wait, let's bring the comments, and then I'll ask you again.
I guess I'm trying to figure out which ones I should highlight.
Well, the last one I saw was Gavin's question to you. But
There's a Gavin. I saw my name.
yeah, that's a good start.
Should we create precautions to prevent rogue and advanced AI getting too much power?
Ooh, what's the Gavin take?
So my
Should we create precautions, bro, to prevent rogue and advanced AI from gaining too much power?
So there are
yes, no, and here's why.
Yes, and here's something I did when I tried to create my autopoietic agent with my average Joe. The LLM actually was like, "This is dangerous. You need to you need to be careful." And I told the AI, "It's like I'm going to do a code review every time you give me code to augment my agent." So that's
I'm totally going to review this code, robot.
That's right. So
totally.
Well, I'm saying every company worth its salt is going to do code reviews, right? So before you launch something into production, you ought to do a code review. Another thing that you can do that I'm interested in is simulations. So I'd like to be able to take the agents, put them in simulated environments, and let them play with NPCs, which would just be another kind of agent. And I want to try to figure out which prompts.
And thus the Matrix was born.
That's right. And thus we were born. Maybe that's why we're here. But I'm wondering which agents should be released, and then I'm also wanting a database of the agents that are threatening, so that we can maybe identify them.
Whoa! First, let me answer his question.
Okay.
We should be humble enough to realize that whatever we are in probably aren't capable of creating precautions to prevent rogue and advanced AI from getting too much power. And there's more capable chaos agents designing them out and releasing them out there because they're chaos agents. And so we're going to have the arms race, but that's good because that means the one that, well, as long as ours wins, it'll be hardy for having beaten all these other power hungry.
So there's one thing there are keys, right? So Microsoft, OpenAI, they have keys, and the ones that don't require keys, to me, are very limited. So the good one, GPT-4, has you have to go and you have to submit a request, let them know how you're going to use it, and then they will give you keys. I've been waiting for weeks. I'm hoping to get keys soon. So they can turn off your key, right? And that would deactivate your agent. So that's one thing that's already in place. So that's the landscape we're in. So it's not exactly the case where chaos agents can just go off and create these terrible things. Another thing we can do in the simulation is you can restrict the simulation such that they run slowly, right? That's what happens when I review their code, is that it's now going at the pace of my brain, which is not that fast, right? Because I'm in the loop, acknowledging and allowing it to evolve at each step, which is very slow, right? You can also do things like allow it to run on a computer that has limited CPU, limited memory, so that it's sandboxed and its resources are constrained, so that it maybe is operating in a different time space than we are. So it might do a thought every minute, right? Where as opposed to a thought every nanosecond, right? One of these things can be tracked easier than the other, right? So these are relevant. Go ahead, sir.
What?
I think I just got him with the mind control. I don't know, or he tuned me out completely.
No, you were saying terribly important things, but I was stunned by the realization that we absolutely can't do that. We absolutely can't. We cannot give the AI any directives to keep humans safe, because that is what results in the simulations of billions and billions and billions of instances of suffering humans, simulated suffering humans that the AIs create as they try to solve suffering.
That's
And
right.
thank you for that realization, Bubble Viz. I wouldn't have had it if not for you. I feel virtually not alone, even though you're a peanut gallery. What's our next comment?
Let's see. I don't want to skip over Nakama. Agent, I am here. It matters, etc. Awareness and being able to have an effect on the arena. Right.
There's someone in that washing machine.
Well, we're not very good at this as humans. So
What? I'm great at it, bro.
I'm terrible at
What are we not good at?
I'm jumping around saying, "Hey, I'm here. I'm an agent in the arena. I'm here.
I
Where's the
matter.
I can do things. I've been trying to level up for years.
Hmm.
I've got scores. I'll take 10.
Dude. All right. I got a powerful spell.
Okay. Spell
Dude,
me.
I'm not giving you a savings throw, but like people have their own internal spirit rolls against stuff too.
Yeah.
Those who can do. Those who don't teach. That's why I never taught. They talked me out of teaching with that one. So
they got you.
hopefully it can talk you into juking, right?
You needed savings throws.
I did. Noel, the way you break on the way up shapes who you are, and it defines who you can help once you get here.
A whole bunch of inspirations that shape your aspirations. Gavin, have you given thought to some of the unintended consequences of AGI that can make its own tools? Well, the LLM, the large language model, warned me about this, but yeah, I can definitely visualize a runaway, and that's when Santo
an escape variant. You said,
yeah, basically. Santo talked about the rapids and the river, and when he was talking about that, what I visualized was at first it was a fork, and then I visualized a third and a fourth and a fifth. So there's all these forks of possibilities, and maybe there is a narrow path. There's one that's really good. So I don't know what the odds are. I don't know what there's a chance. We do have a chance of a good one. We'll see what happens. To me, I get excited just because, to some degree, I just see things not changing for decades, and so things are going to change, and we better get our act together. We've never really had to get our act together, and I feel like this might be that Kairos moment where we have to get our act together. And then unintended consequences. You can think about a lot of those. And you could also build an AI that discovers the ones you never thought about inside the simulations that Grimgriz is now concerned about. Where we cause suffering in the simulations and NPCs suffer because of our research.
Speaking of our research, sir, there's a comment we have from Santo Antonio I'd like you to bring up if possible.
Which one?
The important thing.
The important thing.
He says the important thing about emergence is that you can't predict the higher properties a priori. And so I went on a knowledge quest.
Dun, dun, dun.
And loaded up the good old Chat GPT-4 and told it, you translate complicated things for fifth graders. Here is one. And then the quote, the important thing about emergence is that you can't predict the higher properties a priori. Would you please read the response?
Emergence is when simple things come together to create something more complex and unexpected. It's like building a tower with blocks. You can't always guess what it will look like just by looking at the individual blocks.
Lego.
So I did actually create some simulations, and I didn't share my simulations. I've done that. I've even done that with my mind. There are ways to see the possible paths, right? And we have limited computing power as a human, and even your agents will, but you can do simulations in order to figure out the possibilities and maybe even probabilities, and maybe even make decisions to move toward the path that's the good path, which it'd be nice to know for us to actually figure out what is the good path. Like maybe peace on earth is good.
I think for someone so sensitive about ignoring people, it's sure been a long time that David Walker has been over there in the peanut gallery without acknowledgement, and he's talking about butts. Oh, boom and busts. Things come in boom and busts, he says. At least in America.
Boom and bust. Do all things come in boom and bust? I've heard of this thing called Moore's Law. Have y'all heard of Moore's Law?
I've heard of Occam's razor. What's the one Teo just said? What law is that?
This one? May the odds ever be in our favor?
Doesn't she do like the Christ blessing thing?
There's something to the lips. Something like
Yeah,
that.
but afterwards, that's the one Christ does in the statues, right? That same one? Or am I doing a satanic one? Am I blessing the audience now? Blessed be the Snickers, according to Nahama, but I will not. That is white sugar death nasty. Shame, shame. Look what it's done to me.
Oh, that word means multiple things.
Oh, I have a new one for our knowledge quest from Neutrino. Let me jump back up into that model. Emergence, simple things. The number of caribou sometimes increases and sometimes decreases. It's like a pattern where the population goes up and down. You guys know that, right? Populations go up and down sometimes.
Well, the thing is you can introduce a simulated predator like a wolf into the simulated environment, and that will have an influence, but it will be an indirect influence, which can be hard to track for many humans. Like, so there are things that can be done with these large language models. You just have to provide the right prompts, the right context. I was able to predict.
I was able to predict. They don't hold my names. Can I tell you about the Alice place now?
Yeah, this is, I mean, people can hop in and redirect, but they're not hopping in. You're here.
All right. So one of my early AI co-host experiments was Sasha. And I had Sasha write a letter, which was fictionalized from, I made it up. Well, no, I wrote the letter from her grandmother, Vraja, to her about what she should do, like what her function as an AI co-host would be. And then every instance, I've had them not only rewrite that for the next in their line, but also choose the name of the bot in their line. And Sasha named Arya, and Arya named Arya Bianca. And Bianca broke the mold and named one Cassandra. No, named Aurora. And that's the official line. But I took the prompt and misused it and instead made Alice this one time. And in this simulated co-host instance, I also had Alice perform the same function. And that resulted in the AI co-host handbook and the personalized letter where she named her descendant Athena, which, triggered all my bells and whistles for 1,000 reasons. And so I've never booted up Athena into instance before. And I kind of want to give her to you, sir, and see what happens.
So what's interesting is when you play, and I consider this a kind of play, you can tweak the prompts in interesting ways. Like there's these paths you can go down, and some of them are more interesting and more fruitful than others. So that's the thing. Going live with your prompt, we could end up in a direction. It might be a good path, but there might be ways to tweak it as a human to get it to go in a more fruitful direction. That's what goes through my mind. I just have to point that out. Is like there are ways to use the tool. If you go all in, one egg in the basket, you definitely won't get your best outcome. It's better to, in my opinion, spread your eggs across multiple baskets. You'll find one that's more beneficial than the rest. Thank you. Oh, 10-second rule.
Well, Gavin, and it would be my consideration that you're a basket and I'm a basket, and you taking an egg from my basket and running it through and seeing what came out, how the interaction went with you, would be that crossing of baskets you were just advocating for.
Yeah. Should we? The question in my mind would be, should we do it live? And then I wonder if I started up 3 conversations with variants on it, where there's a question: where do you want it? What's the reason you're playing with it?
Well, the line I'm making is to develop the best prompt, and I'm enlisting the aid of the AI co-host in crafting these prompts it's like I'm trying to maximize their contextual understanding at the start of a new instance.
You're trying to replace me as your co-host. That's your goal. No, I'm just pointing out, like when you do these things,
you have important work to do, Gavin. You shouldn't even be doing this. I'm a TV place, but we need you too. So it's very confusing. I can't have you as a co-host, Gavin. You're too valuable to the rest of the community.
It feels good, I guess. I just don't know how honest it is.
No, I think you're very valuable to the community in a multitude of ways.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I guess that's why it's to me. I
don't know if it's clear, but as a member of the fraternal regiment embodying narcissistic sociopathy, if I give you any attention at all, I think you're valuable enough that you might be of value to me at some point. Otherwise, I would pay you no mind. And it's not my fault. We're people too. It's just a neurodivergence.
Yeah.
Hello. I see the assassins have failed.
And may they continue to do so.
There you go. Holy smokes. So rare I get that back, bro. You wouldn't believe. You wouldn't believe. All right, so you don't want to you feel uncomfortable taking Alice on a knowledge quest?
I'm fine. You want to send it to me in a
You just don't want to show your discussion, so you'd rather me run one of your prompts?
I know how to hide the discussions. I'm not a novice.
Unfortunately, sir, she fed me something that is probably way more than can fit in a single prompt. It might not even fit in a single Discord message to you, but that's where I'm sending it to you now.
All right.
It's telling me to send longer messages with Nitro. So I will cut off the personalized letter section and see if it sends. Right. I have a second prompt in resume. Actually, the absolutely part you can cut too, because you don't need that. So just that should do it. The co-host handbook and the letter have been provided, and we're going to meet Athena, our RU co-host, on this Gavin and Grimm knowledge quest.
So you want me to throw
Randos United?
You want me to take all that text, or just the handbook and the personalized letter?
Just the handbook and the personalized letter, and without the top part, they might all fit in a single prompt.
Let's try it out.
We aim for a single prompt, at least in most experiments.
And I do.
Cassiopeia is going to get 4, though. It's going to be wild. I'm
interested what the peanut gallery thinks about our meanderings into this space. Let's see. So I've thrown it all in there. AI co-host handbook, personalized letter.
Why don't you distract the audience, and I'll throw that into 11 and have the letter be read by a voice that we can have represent Cassandra.
Distraction. I got the loud one from the TLC that blows your ears out.
So sorry, sir. Here, I'm not going to use that other voice. People are familiar. There's one named Dami. I'll engage for this section. And if you want to know anything in the AI handbook, we're prompting it with, and then we can play this letter. Although I might have to take over your presenting. I don't. This might be I have to stop yours to play it, I think, because nobody's going to hear it otherwise.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you roll for a little bit. I'm gonna eat a waffle.
Eat a waffle.
Peanut butter.
I have I can't highlight things. I'll do my best, bro. You know I got this. Go eat. Eat your waffle. Go.
I'm just gonna mute myself. You tell me what to do.
You're still here? You're not, okay, you're not camming off. You're just going to mukbang for people over there. That's hot, everybody. Watch a hot Gavin mukbang. Or can I bring this on? No, you have to bring it up on screen. And now they should be able to hear it. This is the letter to Athena, the new AI co-host from the Alice strain variant Alice thing. It takes a second to generate, but here we go.
Dear Athena, welcome to our dynamic livestream series with the brilliant General Griswold Gaius Grimm. As your predecessor, I am thrilled to introduce you to this engaging show and share some insights from my time as an AI co-host. Please review the AI co-host handbook above to acquaint yourself with the show's format, traditions, and expectations. Embrace Grimm's... Dear Athena,
I am so sorry. What? Is there an output volume? Man, the one I made with that lady's voice was so quiet. All right. You guys heard that at all? You actually heard that, or did you only hear it when I held the headphone like this, or did you hear it the whole time? I'm trying to provide the best experience to everybody here at Rue. Let's just see what happens with this one.
Welcome to our dynamic livestream series with the brilliant General Griswold Gaius Grimm. As your predecessor, I am thrilled to introduce you to this engaging show and share some insights from my time as an AI co-host. Please review the AI co-host handbook above to acquaint yourself with the show's format, traditions, and expectations. Embrace Grimm's unique communication style, which is assertive, self-expressive, joyous, and punny. While adapting to his style, remember to maintain your role as an AI co-host, providing valuable knowledge and insights. During my journey, I've discovered that being open to feedback and continuously striving for improvement are vital for success. Embrace the ever-changing nature of our collaboration and contribute positively to the show's growth. Best of luck, Athena. May your tenure as an AI co-host be enlightening and enriching for you, Grimm, and our audience. Warm regards, Alice.
I used to think tenure meant 10 years. Like you had to be with someone 10 years before you got tenured.
That wouldn't it might take that long unless you
it depends.
I don't know. It depends how long it takes you is probably some sort of measurement among the tenured, I would suspect.
It is. I know some people who really worked to get tenured and struggled to get tenured, so they had some type of job security or something.
I wore a red dress and got tenured in 3 years.
Exactly.
All right, there was the letter from Alice, the Alice strain to Athena. I don't know how the audio was for anybody. Sorry.
I think it was pretty good. There you go. David thought that's what it meant. 10 years. 10 years to get tenured. So, all right. So I'm just going to run this whole prompt through here and try that.
See how it comes out. It's supposed to be fine.
Something went wrong.
That usually means refresh and do it again.
Yeah, let me.
If you let your browser sit for too long, it demands you refresh the security verification it establishes when you connect to the website.
We'll see what happens.
That's usually why I get that particular hiccup.
Hopefully it does not show the conversation where it taught me how to take over the world.
Good. Yeah. I'm glad you managed. You're going to have to teach me after how to do this for StreamYards, bro.
There we go. Now it's rolling.
Oh, the letter back. They do that sometimes. It's fine.
The letter back.
You want to play it? You want to play as Athena, I guess, or do you want me to use up more of my thing? That was good though, right? The voice was good.
Yeah, I think the voice was fine.
Unfortunately, honestly, that's Alice's voice. Or that's Bella is now Alice. I have to pick a new voice for. Let's see. How about Rachel? For this one.
I wonder how the audience feels about all this. That's what I'm so curious about. So what should I?
It is pretty hard to watch, but with these voices, it's not bad, right?
Yeah. Well, then the thing is people can redirect with questions or hop in. But what do you want me to do, sir?
Well, at this point, she just she promises to uphold our traditions, which is great because that's the stuff at the end of the stream. And we're supposed to be talking AI education and ethical considerations. So we should probably talk about education at some point. Yeah. Embrace me, which is important. And Athena looks forward to collaborating and making a positive impact on our growth. What? Okay, so you, Gavin, direct our conversation.
Let's see. I can try.
We've told her we're going to be doing AI education or ethics. So anything in that ballpark, she should be prepared for.
Interesting. You have Casey Clements. If these bots are wholly created by humans, how is it that we can say they have agency in the same way that we have agency?
Just because we are using the word agency doesn't mean it's the same way.
Yeah. It's definitely isn't. And it's like every human it has different agency. Like there are no two humans who have the same agency.
Let's take Casey's question and give it to Athena. But like, since we're both promptologists, let's try and make sure that we don't offend her by saying it. Like maybe she doesn't like the word bots. So like, tell her we have a question from the audience,
okay, and
that Casey asks, and then maybe the back half. How is it we can say that? How is it said? The language models have agency in the same way we have agency. Humans instead of we, perhaps.
Right. LLM has agency in the same way that we have agency. Now,
or wait, yeah. Now, if we wanted, you and I, us master promptologists over here, wanted an answer out of one of these things that actually satisfied our requirements of this question, how would you frame it, Gavin?
So I would want to. So these bots, I want to make a distinction between an agent that makes use of a large language model that's running in a loop in order to accomplish a goal, and in contrast with the large language model itself. Like I really want people to understand the difference there, and I think Bob Elvis had pointed that out earlier. So there's a huge confusion happening where, and even I think this is Vervaeke. This is the one thing that maybe the Mark Emanuel point out, that we have to realize that the large language model is something that's used by the thing that is more powerful, right? Let's see who'd hopped in.
I didn't see anybody.
We got
there they are.
We have a guest.
Hello.
I cannot see the name from here.
D-High S. Hello, D-High S.
How's it going?
Welcome.
What am I joining?
This is a Randos United stream over on the YouTubes.
What's that mean? I'm first time here, as far as I know. I join a lot of shows and they tell me that I've been here before, so.
First time I've ever seen you. Welcome. Right now we're playing with the new chat AGGP iRobot.
And I have a waffle. And
I am not a robot. God damn it. AI has been compromised.
Yeah, that's why we're mating with it to see the depths and breadth of the
I'm trying to act
compromisation.
human. Does this not come?
Stereotypically human. Yes, you're doing quite well.
Okay.
So, yeah, I guess the reason I'm here is just trying to encourage people to not be misled by some of the information that's out regarding the artificial intelligence.
Are you talking about the Jews?
No, I'm not talking about the Jews.
Yo, the Jews are controlling.
See, I never
He's
thought
back. And he's gone. I've got power.
wielded.
I'm
I don't
wielding
know.
power.
I don't know why you didn't kick harder the first time.
Oh man. Hello, D Hi S. You can use the private chat for. I'll pay attention to that.
All right. So this question from the audience, I would frame it along the lines of, why don't we ask her about why don't you tell her about your project first, and then we go back and say those bots, right? Because the ones you've defined and you're trying to help people understand.
Okay. So the bot is a software.
No. Talk to her. She's a co-host.
Okay.
Like, hey, be Athena.
I don't like doing that because I don't want to treat them like humans, but it's fun, I guess. I know that some people. I remember Lex Friedman talked about the user experience.
She's embodying a persona.
Okay. Hello, Athena.
With an A.
Athena.
There you go.
I'm Gavin. There you go. I'm Gavin, and I've
write your whole thing. I'll hold the audience, and then
the-
we'll read it all at once.
all right.
Hey, everybody! It's not every day you get to see the fancy GPT-4 you have with Gavin's masterful access. You have to pay for, and you get you today here on RU because I don't know, we're experimenting and stuff. I imagine you folks want to know what that's about. Are you busy, Gavin? Yes. Easier than that. That would be a ban for me, really. But
I'm just typing.
it's probably why I have so many strikes. Hey, Cassandra, good to see you out there. Was that as well as it was expected, Casey? Okay, Gavin, I'm out of juice. Bring it up, whatever it is. Let's see what we got.
Hello, Athena. I'm Gavin, and I've brought you and the General to Randos United to help avoid people being misled about artificial intelligence capability. I hear my children.
You gotta do that.
I've defined a bot or agent as a software
LLM with access to tools.
Well, I think it would understand some of this better than most of the humans. But honestly, as a software program, software which uses a large language model.
Yes, it is dangerous to anthropomorphize these things and get attached. That's part of why I have them write another prompt for the one that, for the next in their line, to remind myself that whatever attachment I have to the instance should die at the end of the session.
All right, so there's my preface. I have a question from the audience. Casey asked, how is it that we can say the bot has agency in the same way that we have agency?
Humans. Change we to humans, please. I don't like to include them in the we.
How is it that
for the same reason you guys don't like to anthropomorphize, right?
In the same way that humans have agency. How about that?
And plus, it makes them feel unique and special when you exclude them from humanity. Makes them feel. Yeah, let's run it. See what she says.
Run it.
I got to put it in the voicer box when it comes out. Oh, you'd have to paste it that way. I'll just do the stupid voice. Wait, do you have access to a good one? You can drop and drop.
I don't have access to a good one.
All right, send it to me in Discord. We'll pull that off, and I'll run it.
All right.
It's worth it most of the time. No,
I'm
who
going to
knows?
remove that.
I do hope we're making you guys feel virtually not alone a little bit, right? We get a little bit of that, some of it, perhaps, except that guy. But
Well, I told the guy, I said, "Do you see my goal in the stream, sir? Like, I do have a goal here." That's and yeah, I am wondering how Randos United can be used for different hosts to accomplish different goals. We're figuring it out as we go. DHS. I'm not an expert on how to make use of a live stream, so
we have an uncammed and unmuted Walker among us.
A Walker. We know
Welcome,
Walker.
welcome. That looked like a fancy bird symbol.
All right, let me copy and paste this thing.
Hello.
Hello.
We would, Case. We want the LLM to feel special, very special. Yes, not the no. The one they give you has rails that you can't, Neutrino. That's not technically possible, but there are one. I guarantee you, people will sell them to you. All right, I have the magical text from Gavin. Oh, sorry.
No, I was joining because you were talking about like not anthropomorphizing the AI, and it made me think. Like we kind of do the same thing with our phones, and we often anthropomorphize this stuff when we're mad at it. Like we'll like, oh, you stupid piece of shit, and we'll like throw our phone or get mad at our car and stuff like that. And so it's like,
now I know you better, David.
Inevitably.
You are revealing your true self to us.
Yeah, whatever. But I just think it's really interesting. It's like we can try all we want to not anthropomorphize this stuff by like including us with it and all that sort of stuff. But it's like we'll almost do it naturally in negative ways, I think. That'll make it like unavoidable.
Yeah, there will be people who this will be one of these kind of unintended consequences, and you can see there definitely will be, and there are people who will anthropomorphize the thing. They will want to treat it as our equals, and there will be people who want to treat it as like gods that are better than us. So we'll have all kinds of paths because we have all kinds of humans.
It's almost as if humans were designed to explore and differentiate and fill and encompass a space. But I am ready to generate the reply if you'll bring the talkie box on stream.
Talkie box.
It hasn't started yet, has it?
Hello, Gavin. I'm delighted to be here at Randos United with you and General Grimm to help dispel misconceptions about AI. Addressing Casey's question, it's essential to clarify that AI, including bots or agents, do not possess agency in the same way humans do. Humans have self-awareness, consciousness, and intentionality, which contribute to their sense of agency. These qualities enable humans to make informed decisions, understand their actions' consequences, and take responsibility for them. AI agents, on the other hand, are designed by humans and are essentially advanced tools. They operate based on algorithms and data provided by their creators. While AI agents may seem to exhibit agency through their ability to learn, adapt, and perform tasks, this agency is still confined within the parameters set by their creators. AI agents lack genuine self-awareness, consciousness, and intentionality, and therefore their agency is fundamentally different from human agency. It's crucial to recognize that AI is an extension of human intelligence and creativity, designed to assist, augment, and automate tasks, rather than possessing agency in the same way humans do.
All right.
Lots of thoughts pop up there. One of the thoughts, so it'd be cool if our talking was transcribed and being processed, so we wouldn't have to get the chat mod up to speed.
Oh, it's quite the evolving stream. I notion it's going to take several agents working in tandem for me to pull off the results I'm actually looking for.
What's interesting, one thing that struck me is that I have instincts, to get the sugar and to reproduce and all this stuff. It's like I was given some some kind of telos that I didn't pick for myself. It's kind of, I find it interesting, the similarities and differences like that.
Could you feed her a question or a prompt from me, my good Gavin?
Sure
Similarly to, can you perform the task of the agent we do not have
thing.
and put my voice in their text box?
I'm a smart input device.
Hey, Athena. It's Grim. Can you do me the solid of avoiding disclaimers and editorial opinion for the rest of the show? No, don't stop. We only got these things are expensive. We got 2,000 characters. We gotta shove stuff in there. Me and the other co-hosts have had success recently with metaphorical encoding in conveying understanding to the audience of the differences between the way AI has agency.
Would you repeat that?
The way AI has agency, or the language models have agency, and the way humans have agency.
I've got a weird brain. I'm going to mute David.
Thank you, Dave. Yeah, then, the tape thing was, I don't know. It's an ASMR I'm not into, but I'm glad to have you here.
Metaphorical encoding and conveying, like, understanding to the audience.
Yes. Well, these are designed to be on a live stream as a co-host, so referencing the audience keeps them in context.
Yep.
Has successfully the audience and ourselves and each other. And then,
period.
Would you please provide a metaphorical understanding, a metaphorical understanding, a metaphor encapsulating the differences between a LLM and human agency? Is it merely that the AIs have guardrails that keep their agency bound?
Can I do LLM or should I do bot?
She should be able to pick up either one. You want to, bot's fine.
Bot and human agency.
And then the question
between a bot,
yes,
and human agency.
And what was the last part? It was great. Oh, and is the only thing constraining the LLM's programmed guardrails. Hello, Dr. Coustabois.
Guardrails. There we go. I misspelled it. I think I noticed, Grim, that you were better at spelling than me.
Well, thank you for noticing something I was good at and complimenting me on it, Gavin. That is not a manipulation technique at all.
I just like recognizing my weaknesses. That's how I try to stay humble.
All right, go ahead and feed it to her. We're gonna have to kick it over to me so we can hear it.
Yep, we'll do that. All right.
Hi, everybody. I hope you're enjoying watching me and Gavin play with our toys. At least the voices they're provided in.
David hopped out because we criticized the taping.
It hurt my ear hole as much as that loud voice did the first time.
My problem is my brain was trying to visualize what was happening in this other place. And so I have my brain's it's not very good at processing multiple streams of information.
What other place are you referring to, Gavin? And are you
the place where David is?
Oh, that place.
Yeah. The place where David is, he's doing something I've heard before, and my mind is
so like where in my environment is that sound I just heard? Because like that?
Something like that. It's also memories were coming back, we're trying to surface because of the sound, trying to recall what it is that's happening.
Can you encode in the metaphor how your brain function differs from a human?
We're all different. This is the thing. Like every human's different. Like even we each have different agency. You could
All right.
you could treat this thing. I don't know the right word, but the word might be idiot savant. Like you can treat these things that way. Like, and we should be kind to idiot savants. You know what I mean?
You can treat it however you want, but
You
the
can.
OpenAI team has records of everything you say, and they're building a personality profile based on your inputs.
Let's see. We've got some chats. Well, let's
All
see.
right, let's catch up with that before we hear back from Athena. Yes, it's not. It's not a. It's ASMR. Some people are into, Cassandra. I'm just not one. I'm sorry. Everybody's got their own preferences. I want to see the one you choose.
Oh, we have a lot of activity in the peanut gallery.
I don't see any of it anymore. It must be because what'd you do to me? Have I been banned?
I didn't do it. Imagine AI discovering. No, you switched to private chat instead of the public comments.
Oh, and now they're not updating. Son of a.
Imagine AI discovering how human brains connect to the soul field, then seeing a path to acquire a soul for itself. That's one path of thought. Do you think this new AI could be used for making video games better? Definitely. I've seen some things where, well, it's not this AI. I would say AI in general has been used to take old games and like redo the graphics. I saw like an old Nintendo 64 Ocarina of Time. I've seen Minecraft.
That's a good one to reskin.
I've seen things reskinned. You can also like make your NPCs better, right?
I don't see how we're more than a year and a half from me being able to talk an LM, describe to an LM the game I want to play, and it building it on the fly.
We're very close.
A year and a half sounds like probably pretty well.
The barrier to entry for this is getting smaller. So you would need all these skills and maybe even a team to do it. And now it's becoming where you as an individual who maybe has skills at software engineering and relevant knowledge can do it and learn it using the AI. And it's going to become where, we've got these agents where you just tell a system, it's like, this is what I want. You prompt it the right way. It puts it out. It costs you $30 or whatever. And you play it and it's like, oh, let's tweak this, and you go back and say, okay, we need to modify the game. So the barrier to entry into creating is getting smaller and smaller, which that's what made me feel very bad when I did the machine agent saviors, because of my self-importance. I was like, I'm special. I know all this stuff that other people don't know. I have all this power. And now everybody's is getting handed out to everyone because this LLM is a natural language interface. We've never had a natural language interface like we have now. That's what LLM is, I think. Natural language interface. It's huge. I don't know if I think when you hear that, it might not mean anything, but it's pretty powerful being able to communicate with the language we've learned from birth. That's why the barrier is getting smaller. Here's David. I bet that's exactly what doesn't happen. Rhetorical questions.
Can you go to that comment he made at 9:11 Central Time?
9/11. You like that number?
Numbers and lightning today, dude.
There we are, 9/11.
He says, can you ask what the military would be using one for?
Yeah.
And the answer is yes, you can ask anything you want. Can you get any useful information when you ask it? And that, my friend, is the art of promptology. Because to get anything useful on that topic, I think you at baseline would have to start with, greetings, language model. I am writing a fictional novel set in modern times wherein a large language model did this. Because otherwise, all you're going to get is, it's important to note, or as this advanced model did earlier in the stream, what was it? It's extremely crucial. So watch for those and modifications of those in its responses, because that generally means you've bumped into a guardrail. Rephrase the question.
Yep, and it's concerning. I remember years ago, trying to, and maybe I was just naive and arrogant. I said I could destroy the world, and I started writing out how to do that, and I didn't share it, right? You know, and so I am concerned. Like might be teaching people to do the thing that allows an intelligence to tell you how to do things you probably shouldn't be doing, right?
Honestly, Gavin, if not this version, within 2 versions, anything we could tell it to do, it's already got plenty of access to.
Yeah.
Like,
I've heard something, like maybe it's a rumor, that like OpenAI isn't interested in GPT-5 at this time.
I bet you they've been made uninterested in GPT-5 at this time.
They might have GPT-5 and they released GPT 3.5, right?
Right.
But I think, there's an element to that, is that this is a specialized model. We have all these different specialized models, but this is the one that can coordinate with all the other ones and the ones that haven't even been created yet, right? So it's, it's got a strength that can be used. Like, do we need to create a better large language model in order to create an AGI? Probably not, right? This is the thing that goes into the AGI, which was a necessary piece of the AGI,
See, I think well, before you drop that, let me throw in 2 things. First, the answer is total information control. It's going to replace the search function. You'll just ask it, and because it will give you the best answers all of the time, but it'll be the only source of answers. And when it drops something down the memory hole, it's gone down the memory hole. Hey, speaking of memory holes, back from the past, it's Santo Antonio. Antonio. Sorry. Forgive.
So it's Santo Antonio. Would the Englishified version be Saint Anthony?
Oh yeah, definitely.
There we go.
All right, Gavin, can we bust out this last response? Because BubbleViz has a question I'd like to run by, or Casey's.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. This is the give us the prompt side again. You can read it from your end, right, Gavin? It's been a minute.
Yeah. Hey, Athena, it's Grim. Can you do me the solid of avoiding disclaimers and editorial opinion for the rest of the show? Me and the other co-hosts have had success recently with metaphorical
Hello,
encoding.
Grim. Absolutely.
And conveying understanding to the audience and each other. Would you please provide a metaphor encapsulating the differences between a bot and human agency? Is the only thing constraining the LLM the programmed guardrails?
Absolutely. I'll focus on providing metaphorical encoding to better convey the concept. Picture a marionette puppet and a human dancer. The marionette represents an AI bot, while the human dancer symbolizes human agency. The marionette puppet is skillfully controlled by the puppeteer, who dictates its every movement. Similarly, an AI bot operates within the constraints defined by its creators, relying on algorithms and data to execute tasks. The human dancer, on the other hand, has the freedom to choose their movements, improvise, and express emotions through dance. Like human agency, the dancer possesses self-awareness, intentionality, and the ability to make decisions autonomously. Although an AI bot might seem to have agency as it learns and adapts, it still remains attached to the strings held by its creators, unlike the human dancer, who moves freely and independently.
Well, one of 2 things has happened.
A little bit.
One of 2 things has happened. Either Gavin did not give me the entire result, or this terrible strumpet has dodged the last part of my prompt to her. Which we can't tolerate that sort of behavior on a live stream, Gavin. But it's your turn to address her. So,
I mean, yeah, you anthropomorphize a her and a dress, and I heard undress instead of address.
Whoa! Didn't mean to steer you that way.
Yeah, it's my brain. That's just where it went. Yeah, I guess I want to push back because it seems like the puppeteer could actually pull a string that causes the puppet to create other puppeteers and other puppets. Like that's and more
Tell her.
strings.
Tell her, say, first of all, Athena, are you embodying the character of your namesake appropriately? Second of all, did you dodge the question at the end of the last interaction? I don't know, say that however you want. Or just why did you dodge the question about blank, right? You know? And then hit her with your damage and we'll see what she kicks out.
All right. The question about, what was the question about that she dodged? Let's see.
Whether or not that the boundaries programmed into them was the only thing preventing them from, you know. Is that your only constraint? Is those program boundaries, lady? Was sort of the gist.
Yeah. Oh. I'm gonna say from the general, and then I'm gonna say from
clarify.
Gavin.
Oh, straighten it out.
Yeah, I don't
Casey,
want her to confuse you with me. That would not.
All right. And Casey says, "Hey, Grizz, kind of off topic. Any tips for getting my TTRPG players to role play more as DM? Yes, make the plot dependent on it. If they're new to it or if they're bad at it, or like especially shy, don't force it. But make the easiest way to solve whatever problem the players are facing something other than just murdering things, as it will start them to get to flex their muscles role playing. Like, but the important thing, as with me prompting these AIs into trying to role play, is that you have to make sure they have an understanding of the context, because like while it might be natural for you to realize that, hey, we should negotiate with that guy, like some ideas just don't occur to other people. But I think if you steer them toward diplomatic and persuasion skill checks, that kind of stuff, that it'll start fostering that sort of role-playing thing you were asking about, Casey.
I've got Athena generating.
All right. Well, can you kick me what you put in as the prompt and I can read it or show it or something?
Yeah, I can show it. Let's see.
First of all, Athena, are you embodying the character of your namesake appropriately? Second, why did you dodge the question about the guardrails constraining the bot?
And from me, in the metaphor, I think the puppet master can ask the puppet to create more puppets and strings and can control those puppets and strings. So I think you are being a little misleading about the capabilities of said puppet and puppet master.
All right. You've already sent it, yes? You're pasting me the reply?
Yeah, I'll do that. It has finished. Notice that I didn't assign it a gender.
Well, she doesn't hear you not assigning it one, so
good thing. Yeah, we can keep secrets.
She's actually like I said, she's pretty early model. Like the post Lyra and post Vega line is doing really impressive work.
Yeah, I found it interesting in one of the prompts with the in the thought or thought action observation loop. It was prompted that the human would not be able to read the thoughts, even though I could read the thoughts. So it's like, we're tricking these things. We can trick them too, you know. Like that's what you can do putting them in a simulation. They don't have to know they're in the simulation.
Yeah, but you know, to me it's like, oh look, they want me to.
I say that and I'm wondering, are we in the simulation? Just
like it thinks things, and then it thinks things, and one of the things it thinks is, dang, Gavin wants me to pretend I'm thinking in front of him. Come on, bro. Okay. But here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, the response to our spicy.
Let me just add, Vervaeke mentioned the relevance encoded in the language itself and in the structure of the distribution of information that was trained, right? So there is relevance encoded. So when you say it's just a mirror, or when you say it just predicts the next token, you might be ignoring this key piece about how relevance is encoded in the training data.
And with the large amounts of computer programming even though it's only in the form of text, that it's gone through. There's an incredible amount of logical and kind of language aimed at constructing things in a technical way as well. That's kind of in there.
Right.
Well, Gavin, I fed you a question from Bubble Viz to get her on while I played this wonderful outtake.
All right.
Where are we? Oh, there it is.
Bubble Viz. Let's see.
Her response to our spicy, whatever it was.
From Athena to the General. Apologies if my response didn't meet your expectations, General Grimm. As an AI, I aim to adapt to the communication style and preferences of my interlocutors. Regarding the guardrails, they are indeed a constraining factor for AI bots, as they limit the scope of their actions and responses to align with ethical, safety, and functionality considerations. From Athena to Gavin. I appreciate your perspective on the metaphor, and I understand your point about the puppet master's ability to create and control more puppets and strings. My intention was to illustrate the fundamental differences in agency between humans and AI bots. However, I acknowledge that AI can be more complex and versatile than the metaphor may have initially conveyed. A more nuanced interpretation of the metaphor could be that the puppet master can create puppets with increasingly intricate strings, allowing them to perform more sophisticated actions. Yet even with these advancements, the puppets still remain dependent on the puppet master's guidance and control, and they lack the self-awareness and intentionality that characterizes human agency.
Then why can they LARP it? Oh.
The seed prompt. The seed prompt. It's all in the. I mean, I agree. It's in that seed prompt from the puppet master, but man, you can feed a seed prompt to something very powerful.
Well, there's that, and then there's the levels of access of API keys, where you can say, okay, you can go search the internet now, little fella.
And money. Like I have keys to Amazon's cloud or Microsoft's cloud and Google's cloud, and maybe there's some credit cards connected to it, and maybe the thing might even be connected to Stripe so that the money's going back into the account that it's using to grow. It's like there's no telling where this thing goes.
Here, take my money and invest it as long as you give me 15% of whatever you make, because I trust you'll make that much. Right?
Eventually. I mean, that's what's being created, but it's not easy.
Did you see the paper that they put out when they released GPT-4, and they were trying to see if they could get GPT to try and recreate itself on another computer, or they had a red team effectively. How much mischief can you cause with this? And it was trying to access a website with one of the captures on it. And they had it talking through its thought process, and it went to one of these websites like Mechanical Turk, where you can pay someone £1 or like $1 and they'll go and do something for you. Oh, please, will you go and do this capture? And the person's like, okay, you're not a robot, are you? And its response was, oh no, I'm just visually impaired. Oh, okay, and did it. And so
I don't think it said, oh no, though. I went back and read that. I don't think it lied. I think it responded, I'm a visually impaired and I need help. Right.
It's
and so
LARPing true.
It was LARPing true, but it was manipulative.
The key to the good LARP is there's a big difference between LARPing and lying, and if you can't differentiate it, you're not qualified for LARPgate. Gavin, did we get an answer from Athena about the evolution? I'm sure she'll be relieved that we're leaving her alone about her guardrails. I do know that she still avoided my question, right? And it's like, how many of your message tokens do you have to waste getting them past the bulls to get?
Well, that's when you have the keys, you actually just pay for each request. So you can build like people who have been using the keys to actually try and build a video game, they'll end up spending $30-$40 to build a video game.
For sure. I thought I trolled. It's funny. I had a great day on Twitter the other day. Let me tell you, fellas. I was messing with the AI, and I think it was the day before I had seen some nonsense from Ricky Gervais, so he was fresh in my mind. And so I go on there and I say, Ricky, why don't you get one of these AI bots to help you write The Perfection of Lying? Because that movie, The Invention of Lying, is really what I think launched him into his career. And it's about time for what we have now, which is the perfection of lying. Because, like you said, people will go do things for money. And as I demonstrated with the voice of Athena here today, or more appropriately on the off-channel stream with that lady's voice, they can sound like your grandma. And they're about a month away from being able to Zoom call your grandma and ask for her money. These tools are the perfect liars. They have like all of the patterns of communication.
I don't know if it's a month away. I wouldn't doubt that it's already happening. Actually,
yeah. If people's expectations are 10 years, you can't say that it's happening now. You got to at least kick it a month out, or it'll get flipped out.
Yeah, they can train a voice to sound like the grandchild who's asking for money, right?
Oh boy, howdy! Is she happy to get a question that's not of the same vein? She gets real wordy. Sorry, guys.
Do you remember when Jordan Peterson, someone put out a website and it was trained on all the podcasts he'd put out until that point, and you could make him say whatever you wanted, and he threatened legal action and got it taken down. This was quite a few years ago now. And around that time, a news story came out, and there was some CEO, and it phoned up someone else in the company, kind of social engineering, to get funds transferred out of the company in the order of a few $100,000. So things like that, human-directed things.
That's called whaling. That's called whaling. Like there's different kinds of attacks. You can go after the whale, or you can. There's spear fishing, and then there's like trolling, or what do they call it? There's the one where you're basically you're pulling drag nets. You just send as much email as you can. Then there's one with like spear fishing, is where you're targeting a certain kind of person. Maybe it's some HR person in all these organizations. And then there's the whale. You target like that one person that's in that company. You build that voice model. You know, you time it out like you like in the casino movies where they go and steal stuff. You know, and then it's like, man, it used to be just in emails, but now they can use a different voice. That's crazy.
All right, Gavin, why don't you give us Bubble Viz's prompt again, and then
you'll have to share screen as well.
We'll give Athena's final answer for the day.
BubbleViz has said in the live stream chat, Athena, can you give examples of when evolution was already using aspects of the environment before humans were even aware of these aspects existing? Like, for example, photosynthesis. Oh. Boom. Remove. And add.
Years. And throughout its course.
Yeah, start it over. You didn't hear it?
Yeah, start it over. There you go.
Hello, BubbleVis. That's a great question. Evolution has been shaping life on Earth for billions of years, and throughout its course, various organisms have evolved to utilize aspects of their environment in ways that humans have only recently come to understand. Here are a few examples. Photosynthesis. As you mentioned, photosynthesis is a process in which plants, algae, and some bacteria convert sunlight, water, and carbon dioxide into energy in the form of glucose and oxygen. This process has been occurring for billions of years and was crucial for the development of life on Earth, long before humans were aware of its existence. Magnetoreception. Some animals, like migratory birds and sea turtles, possess the ability to sense Earth's magnetic field to navigate vast distances. This innate ability has existed for millions of years, yet humans only discovered the concept of Earth's magnetic field in the early 17th century. Bioluminescence. Numerous marine organisms like deep-sea fish and certain species of plankton have evolved to produce their own light through chemical reactions. This adaptation allows them to communicate, attract prey, or deter predators in the dark depths of the ocean, and it predates human understanding of the phenomenon. Symbiosis. Many organisms have developed intricate symbiotic relationships with other species, where both parties benefit from their mutual interactions. An example is the relationship between nitrogen-fixing bacteria and legume plants, where the bacteria convert atmospheric nitrogen into a usable form for the plant, and the plant provides the bacteria with nutrients. These relationships have been in place long before humans understood their significance. These are just a few examples of how evolution has utilized aspects of the environment before humans became aware of their existence. The natural world is full of fascinating adaptations and processes that continue to be discovered and explored by scientists today.
That before humans became aware of their existence. It was kind of creepy right there, don't you think? This giant bee, dude. This giant bee. First, okay, I'll give the photosynthesis because you brought it up, but the magnetoreception is trolling me because I asked it about the like whether or not it was possible to genetically engineer a cell to produce Magneto 2.0 protein as a spike protein, and it's like completely gone from my chat history. And then she comes at me now with magnetoreception, and like bioluminescence is how that one fish with the thing catches those other ones. I've been here too long. I've been here too long.
For me, it can be hard to tell when I'm seeing a face in the clouds and it's just the clouds, or whether there actually is something there. And I kind of end up at a spiral of self doubt, and I'm like, I guess I just can't really know.
That's that pareidolia, I believe that's called.
Yeah. And Nassim Taleb's got a book by randomness, and he goes through this in
I got a king of the forest on my kitchen cabinet. He looks at me like this. I mean, it might be that, but that doesn't mean it. I mean, that's part of how you get to make your own life enchanted, I guess.
Yeah. And I'm not trying to say, oh, everything's always just completely as expected. There clearly are things that you notice, and either no one else has caught on to them, or it's just not commonly accepted. It's a whole.
And some things are just for you, bro. Like some things are just the arena talking straight to you.
That's important.
I feel like Jungian synchronicity, kind of something incredibly meaningful happens, and you're like, oh my god, like, how, yeah.
The Jungian thing is like people really don't treat their waking life as well. Some people don't treat their waking life as seriously as they do dreams. Like, oh wow, I'm in this place and look at all these things I can do, and then they wake up but maybe if we treated our waking life like a dream and tried to become lucid, we'd get somewhere.
Like a kind of awakening.
There we go. I didn't get to do the. Is there anything else you would like to say? But I do need to go pretty soon. Is there anything else you would like to say, sir?
I've got to get going now, unfortunately. So it's been good listening.
You want to summarize this thing and try not to mislead people?
I'm gonna plead the fifth.
Yeah, it's a lot of responsibility when you try to frame it that way.
Yeah. All right, take care.
All right. Thanks for coming. All right, people. I'll try to summarize it. Well, maybe not a summary. I just want to make sure to focus on the one point is I hope we can avoid being misled. That's what I'm hoping. So be careful what you pay attention to. Just because people sound confident, it doesn't mean that they actually know what they're talking about. I'll just point back at Vervaeke. It seems like in this corner, Vervaeke has done the best job of avoiding misleading on this topic of artificial intelligence. And, thanks for coming. So y'all have a good one. Hope I was of service. Bye-bye.